Man, go shut. That side was a different side, fam.
Yeah, it was.
What's the situation, fam?
Yeah, nah. I've had a slight delay. I've been on hold to Royal Mail for like the last, I think, hour and 25 minutes.
Royal Mail. What was
Yeah,
the situation? What,
nah.
you sending something?
I was receiving something,
Right.
and it's been time
Yeah.
sicking, Judd. Time
Yeah,
sicking.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
there was a situation where basically, I ordered something. It must have been, I think it was maybe like mid-November.
Christmas present.
No, no, no. Just a
Okay.
general thing for myself.
Okay,
It was
okay.
maybe like mid-November, early November, and obviously time's ticking. I'm contacting the organisation to be like, "Hold on, where's my
Yeah,
passport?
yeah,
Where's it
yeah.
at?" And they're giving me, "Oh, my friend, it's in your country." I'm like, "Okay, cool, calm." But obviously, when
But
I
so,
come,
sure, where did you order this thing from though? Was it like
it's
a abroad thing?
yeah.
Okay.
So obviously now they're saying on their side, they're saying it's with you, like it's in your country. No, they're not saying it's with me personally. They're saying it's in your country. When you go
Right.
in Royal Mail now, the tracking system, and you put in the code, it says we don't know where it is. It
That
might
is
be
so
somewhere,
long.
but it's not with us, essentially.
Yeah.
But obviously, these lot are adamant saying no, it's actually with you, and they're sending me screenshots and everything. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me just call them up today and see what this Roman is saying. Maybe it's a situation where behind the scenes they can see all the ins and outs, and I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, yeah, bud.
Me, the average civilian cannot see all the little bits. So I call them. They say, "Cool, you're gonna have to be in hold for an hour." I'm like, they weren't joking, John. They said, "And you're gonna be
Well,
in
what?
there."
And they
Cool.
told you straight up, you're gonna have to wait for an hour.
No, no, as in like obviously the automotive voice said it, like you're gonna be in
Okay,
there
okay,
for an hour.
right, okay,
And I
okay,
was like, well, there's nothing else I can do. It's either that or I chat up to the automated system,
okay. What?
which is not even helpful anyway.
Nah, I got lie. One thing on the side though, those automated systems, I get the efficiency, technology, AI
Yeah,
thing, but they're jarring, bro.
sometimes I need to speak to a
Yeah, do you know,
human being.
the first thing I always say, what would you like? I need to speak to someone. I need to speak
Yeah,
to someone.
yeah.
I need to speak to someone. Or if I'm texting thing, I said I need to speak to someone.
Can I speak to a
Yeah,
human, please?
yeah,
I
literally.
need I need sympathy,
Straight.
empathy
I
right now.
always say that straight.
Because what you're trying to provide me is not what I need. I need someone to
No
understand where I'm
word.
coming from.
Word.
So now I call them and they're saying, okay, it's going to take an hour, and I'm just doing my work in the background, just my day-to-day work, and then
Mm.
someone's trying to call me on my phone. I'm like, ah. At that point, it's been 24 minutes already. I'm thinking,
The clock's
allow
already
it,
ticking, bro. If
allow
they
it. So
cancel the thing, you have to start coming fresh, innit?
no, so what I did, I tried to press hold, accept and hold, thinking that one would pattern, but for some reason they couldn't hear me. They're like, hello, hello. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
allow it. So I had to end the call, and then I had the conversation. It was a conversation that didn't even need to be had.
Unnecessary
I was
conversation, bro.
vexed. Went back to call Royal Mail again through the whole process. If you need this, whatever, press one. Cool. Done it all
100.
again. I'm
100.
holding now. Fine. And I was on hold for 35 minutes now, John. I've been doing this since 9 o'clock this morning, John. I was on hold
Raw.
for 35 minutes, and then for some reason it just locked off. Just not.
Sean, those are the worst ones.
I
Do you
don't know
know,
what.
Sean, the peakest one is like you're waiting for time and they just lock it off. They just lock it off.
They just
And then
locked
they call
off.
you again. Nah.
They just
How does
locked
that,
off.
why does that even happen? Like they literally just lock it off.
They just locked it off. I think someone's just like, like John. I literally sat there. I took a deep breath. I was like, let's go. Okay, let's go. This is gonna happen. I've come here and this is gonna work. So I'm like, cool. Let me go one more time. I called back. No, I'll tell a lie. I called another. So what happened was on the last option, it said to me, it was like, at the end of this conversation, we're gonna give you an online, a questionnaire sort of thing that you can
Uh-huh.
answer. So in my head, I thought maybe if I say that I'm gonna do, because the last two times I said I'm not gonna do it. Maybe if I say I'm gonna do it, you're gonna bump me a bit further up the queue. I did it. I did it, and then quickly after it says, "Yeah, your wait time's still an hour though." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, no."
Simple, simple.
I
They
tried. I
even
tried
mocked
it.
you.
They
They,
mocked it. They
they
mocked it. So
mocked you.
I simply ended the call then quickly and called back and did the whole thing again. So I'm not doing the questionnaire. Couldn't be asked. So I'm waiting now, and at this point, I just connected it to my AirPod, so I don't have to hear it. Put the AirPod on the
Mm.
side, and I'm getting on work now. Cool. I put my AirPod in. I got used to them. You know the music. I got used to it, Joe. It was the Katy Perry
Word.
bangers that were
Yeah,
on.
no, you know, I'm not gonna lie though, sometimes have to give credit where credit's due. Sometimes they do play some bangers, bro.
They put some bangers on there, and I was like, okay,
Sometimes they
cool.
do, bro.
Cool. Some of these online services now give you options to say, like these telephone companies, like if you want an old style of music, you want new up to date pop music. I'm like, swear, catering to your audience. That's cool.
No,
But yeah, no. So now I've been on hold for an hour. Hour 10 has gone by, and then I hear, you hear that glimpse of
the click. Yeah.
Everyone's got that feeling.
You hear the ruffle thing, like
Yeah. It goes from the music to
yeah.
You're like, and you're not even ready. That is the most off guard you will ever catch anyone. So now, answer the call, and John, the nicest soul, like this guy.
Swear.
Nah, John, I couldn't have even. It made the hour worth me waiting. Was the guy
love that
call? He was just like an old guy. Like me, I can imagine he was not even that old actually. I can imagine him being like in his 50s, but he was. You know the ones where I was like, because like check your fucking number, and I was like, do you mind just bearing me 1 second? It's like, no, don't worry about it. Take your time, honestly, it's fine. Cool. Give him the numbers now. He repeats them back to me. He's talking about it. You know the ones that he relates it even to himself. He's like, mate, I even tried to order a washing machine from China. It's still.
On the slide, don't forget what you're gonna say, but on the slide, it's people like him that causes the problem, because he goes bare slow in it.
Yeah,
he's going bare slow.
True,
problems, bro.
He is also the problem. But in terms of what I needed, he made me feel. You made me feel at ease. He was like, obviously, it's a situation where it was posted on this date. It's still, he said, I can see what you ordered. It's genuine. Like, it is what it says it is. But it might just be a situation where at Heathrow, customs are longing it out. Or it's a situation where it could even just turn up without us even knowing that it's turning up. Like, it could just turn up to yours. Like,
but does that mean that they already had it or they haven't had it yet?
He's saying that they don't have it right now.
Right.
Then there was like another item which I had, which he was tracking. He was like, don't like that one. It wasn't even that long ago. I just wanted to just double check because it's from the same sender. But he said that one's not too deep.
Expensive thing.
Nah, not really. It was just in the spur of the moment purchase. I just thought, why not?
Is it related to like fitness and that, or what is it?
No. Literally, it's just like a piece of clothing. It's like a jacket. So I was just like, come on, let me just order it quickly. Yeah, nah.
Sure, guy.
Yeah, nah. I think I took it out. No, because like how the world works now, you'll spend money and like you'll forget that there's money just float. That's just in the system now. My money's just in the system. I've not received any service or any good from it so far. All I've done is just send money out there.
Bro, I'm sure this is what Breach was talking about, some of the inefficiencies of the systems, bro. Inefficiencies of the systems, bro.
Nah. Economics wasn't a joke, Like,
it's not a joke.
Actually not a joke. Like, it is how the world works. That is what made me, come to a point where I now somewhat sympathize with politicians. Just a little bit. Just a tad. Because there's not a single win-lose, win-win. It's always a lose-lose situation for these men, no matter what.
100.
Because essentially, what we learned is that there are macroeconomic objectives, which is like the basic objectives of how the country should be run. And essentially, you have growth, and you have inflation, you have unemployment, you have all these sort of things. But so when you actually look at it, John, if you think of it, to achieve growth would mean that average disposable incomes are rising. Increasing. Yeah. Cool. They're increasing now, which means you're spending more, which means that aggregate demand is rising, which means that in turn, inflation is going up. Now, what that means is, so you wanted to achieve growth and you got it. But essentially now what's happened is inflation has gone up, which means that now your bread can't get you as far, which means that you now stop spending money, which means that...
You're pulling out the six marker.
No. It had to be done. When I actually did it, I was like, this is mad. Because now what it means is that you're now not spending money, which means that little Lisa with a little corn shop down the road is having to let go 3 people in the shop now who are now unemployed. So now it's long. People are now unemployed from what was initially just trying to achieve growth.
Which is why, see, this is where it does get complex though. See, the thing is though, I can't remember which one was it. Is it the base rates here, like the interest rates? That isn't the government. That's like the Bank of England or whatever it is, and they're separate in it. So obviously now these man, to add into that mix now, they're now setting the rate of borrowing or the rate of saving in it. So now the interest rates are high, whilst then people are incentivized to save in it. But then if they want to stimulate, then they reduce the interest rates. But then if they do that, then yeah, it gets so long on that. But to be fair, this economics thing,
it makes you take a step back and think, you know what, yeah, no matter what, and that's why there'll always be this thing called the opposition. For people that don't know, opposition in politics is literally the opposite party to a party that's currently in power. So majority of the time, it's Labour is the opposite to the Conservatives, and they literally they always have ammunition. They're just always ready because there's always
something going. Yeah,
there's always something that they can say. It's the same thing. If Labour come into power tomorrow, Conservatives it's just gonna be the complete opposite thing, and they're valid.
Here's the thing, though. See, I'm not gonna lie. I don't really know too. In fact, we can even chat about it, though. Here's the thing, though. So this Conservatives, they've been in power for time, innit? Since we were kids, bro.
Yeah,
they've been on the thing for time. So my thing is, do you think? Because obviously, since COVID, all of that has been getting a bit nuts. All of the stuff that can you hear me?
Yeah.
All of the stuff that's been coming out on the Conservative side. What are you saying at this next election? I don't even know when it is. Probably 2024 or something like that, or 2025. I don't know. Are you saying that you feel like now there's just too much ammunition from the opposition, as you're saying, that the next election, surely these Labour dons are going to win? Or what do you think?
No, unfortunately, I don't think it will. Genuinely, do you know what it is? I feel like it's very easy to be in a position to criticize when you've never actually been in that position yourself. Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel like Labour for the longest time. Well, actually, just looking back at politics, the last Labour Prime Minister was Tony Blair.
Man, like Tony, bro.
Word. But Tony Blair...
Wait, man, Gordon Brown, was he Labour?
Bro.
He might have been, you know. He might have been actually the last one. Because Tony Blair was at the 2004 things. I don't even know why I know this, Sean, but I just know it.
Gordon Brown, that's a good question, you know.
Let me see.
Gordon Brown is like my first Prime Minister, I remember. Like, that's my guy.
Yeah, no, Gordon Brown was the Labour thing, and he was between 2007 2010.
Is he Labour?
Yeah, he was a Labour.
He wasn't really rated like that, though. That's the problem.
He wasn't.
People rated Tony Blair. And do you know why? Yeah. Tony Blair had a very conservative mindset. That's the thing.
But Tony Blair was what, Labour?
Yeah, he was Labour.
Okay. So he was the Labour thing, but he was a bit more on the central...
Yeah. He had a few capitalist views. He was like, yeah, cool.
Doing his thing
I see what you man are saying. Cool. But, like, in terms of what's happening now, I feel like people just want some... It's difficult because I feel like the world we're living in now is a situation where politics has never been this public to just the average person. In the sense that, do you know how easy it is just to search up on TikTok or YouTube what's going on in the world in terms of, like, I don't know, for example, all this free Palestine stuff. Like, to be honest, John, I'll be real with you. This has been genuinely hand on the heart honest. People might not like this, I live a very, very busy lifestyle, I live the 9 to 5 lifestyle. I don't always get the opportunity to watch the news. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, well, I don't even watch that, I'm not gonna lie.
So I knew what was going on roughly, just a rough one. I knew who were the ops, but I could not tell you what we had to do with it at all. Like, what was our 2 pence in this situation?
Nah, it's even nuts. That whole... It's true, though, but I think like this... See, what you mentioned there, though, is good, but it's bad at the same time, because now anybody can start talking about anything, and situations are always more complex, typically, than it seems.
Oh, 100%.
So it's like, even with the Palestine thing, like, there's obviously people that are going to be very, very, very much for Palestine. There's going to be people that are very, very much for Israel. Typically, the truth's going to be somewhere in between, somewhere, innit?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can't lie, that situation there in particular is complex. Oh my days.
No, word.
Like, if you just try and properly understand both sides. I remember, maybe like, was it 2 years ago when the thing started popping up a little bit again? Obviously, this has been going on for time, innit?
Yeah,
I think it was maybe like, for like 2, 3 years ago, just around the COVID-ish times, it started popping off again, innit? that's when I was like, you know, let me try and understand this thing in it. So I started looking. I looked at the Palestine side. I looked at the Israel side. And I got, right, these guys have an argument. Then I went to the other side. I was like, right, these guys have an argument as well, you know. Then you look at Raw. This is actually a peak. Like, this is actually one of the peakest conflicts at the level whereby the solution actually isn't obvious.
Yeah, no,
like, it isn't. Like, the solution actually isn't. It's not. Like, if anyone tells you, oh, they just need to stop doing this, or they just need to stop doing this, it means that you don't actually understand the situation. Like, it's actually a very deeply embedded problem.
Actually long. Like,
yeah, it's actually, like, genuinely, it's actually a long problem where
that's what
both
I'm saying.
people have a decent argument.
That's what
both
I'm saying.
Have a decent argument. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying with politicians. Why I feel bad for them. It's always a somewhat of a lose-lose situation because it's very easy for people to be like, create more jobs. And it's like, big man, if I create more jobs, that means your prices are all going up. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They'll say, reduce inflation. Okay, cool. I might be able to reduce inflation by increasing interest rates. But that means you're going to save, which is going to increase unemployment anyways, because now you're not spending money. So I feel like whilst it's good that we've now got a situation where it's accessible, but people that don't actually understand that, you know, this is actually I have at least the option to understand it, but it's still not my place to say. Do you get what I'm saying? There's people in these positions who, after having a whole career in what they're doing, still don't know the answers. So what makes you think that you can just now say, just do this? It's not as simple as that.
You see, obviously you study politics A-level, yeah? Do you still follow it here and there? Or not even? Like, it's not even a thing like that for you?
No, I'll be honest, not really.
I hear it. Do you lean towards, like, let's say the left or the right? Do you have, like, would you say you have marked political views or not? Not, it's not even a thing like that for you.
I need to dive back into this one. So capitalism is more like what's it?
That's typically more towards the right, and then the socialism, and then the extreme side would be on the left. Like the left would be socialism, and then the extreme
socialism like share everything sort of thing.
Yeah, it's more like the state owns more things. It's like kind of more sharing things out.
Then I think I'm much more of a capitalist sort of thing.
What, you're on the right? You're on the conservative thing? What, you're a Tory, bro?
Yeah, no, I might be a Tory. I might be a Tory. I'm chilling with me and David Cameron and what's his name?
That's your guy.
Boris.
That's your boy. Yeah.
The boys, we're chilling. We're chilling in Eton, man. Word. But
I hear it. To be honest, I don't know. See, the maddest thing is, I don't know about parties in it, but in terms of beliefs, my core beliefs are definitely way more conservative.
100%. 100%. It might not be nice to hear, but
it might not be, especially since, like, typically Black Dons and that community and that all of the rappers and that, they all on the label thing. And I understand it, but I can't lie to you. Just in terms of my core beliefs, let's not be naive. Like, I'm way more aligned with the conservative side.
Because conservative is much more like in the sense of doing well for yourself, and then because that even then confuses me.
Lower taxes, all of that stuff.
Lower taxes.
Yeah, that's more conservative.
Yeah, nah. It doesn't really make sense to me. Actually thinking about it now, these rappers, what are they on about? Because
in theory, the Labour dons are more for the people on that. More like they care about the little dons, care about giving back, taking the bread from the rich, giving it to the poor. Making sure.
Good. I get it, but also at the same time, I think life should be based off a merit system. That's me personally. If you do well enough, then you'll reap the rewards from it. I don't believe in a situation where just cause like no one has a. I saw yesterday, which was mad. People need to get rid of this mindset of I am entitled to succeed in life. You're not. Like, nothing is guaranteed to anyone. Do you get what I'm saying? Like
100%.
Like, weak people have that mindset of saying that because I did this, or because it applies to actually anything, you know, because you worked hard in life, because you went to uni, because you've done however many hours, it means that I have to get a promotion, I have to get this job, I have to get. You're not, you know, like no one's entitled to anything in life at all. So I think that's my problem with the Labour, like on the left side, is that it's like, I'm entitled to this because it's fair, but life's not fair. Nothing's fair. Do you know what I'm saying?
Here's a flip argument now, though, Sean. So the argument was like, yeah, fair enough. Like, obviously, yeah, you do have to work for your things here and there. However, there are some people that just don't have the opportunities, bro. Like, they just need, let's say, the government or whoever it is to actually be able to put them in a position where they have a fair chance to compete. Do you get it? So think about it now.
Yeah.
Imagine you now grow up on the council estate in I don't know, Peckham or whatever it is, yeah. Obviously your mum's now single March now. Obviously you're in the area whereby all you really know growing up is gangs, and that area supposedly has been created by racism, putting all the black profiling, making sure the black people are in one certain area.
Yeah.
Now you're growing up, that's all you know. Marge is struggling, you don't have a father figure. Now it's like, okay, cool. How is that person realistically going to survive long term? Unless there are some systems in place whereby, okay, we're going to take some from some of these rich dons that have been privileged all their lives. Their dads passed down the money to the kid, to the kid, to the kid. Let's take some of the bread from here. Let's give it to these dons so that these guys have opportunities as well to compete. I guess that's a flip argument. What's your thoughts?
It's I like to play devil's advocate in these situations because I think it's nice to always look at it from both perspectives, in the sense that, okay, cool. In that case, obviously, supplying money might help. It might help. But I think, for example, our situation with gangs, there's certain things that money can't, I don't think money can change. Do you get what I'm saying? That's, in those concentrated areas, that, like, gangs and all those sort of affiliations, that's now, like, it's a lifestyle within that area. And yeah, you might be able to start providing kids with, I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. Where's this money going towards? What are they actually thinking this money's going to do? What, rejuvenate the areas, or what, like, what's it for? What are you doing? You giving the mum more money to send the child to school because you're still going to
education, isn't it? Supposedly education, making sure that they actually have schools to go to, after school clubs, before school clubs. You know what I'm saying? Youth clubs.
Do you know what it is? I feel like, yeah, everyone, no one is ever forced to be in this. I personally believe no one is ever forced to be in a situation. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, yeah, okay, there might be more pressure than other locations to say, if you live in this certain area, all your boys get involved in this gang, cool, which means that you feel like you're compelled to join it now as well. There might be that more of a pressure compared to somewhere else. However, I do think, you know what, yeah, everyone has a choice. Like, everyone does have a choice, and it's just whether you give into peer pressure or not. Like, I'm sure we've all been in situations where there's been a situation where we've felt compelled to do something that we didn't necessarily want to do. But, you know, at some point you just gotta be like, you know, I just don't want to do it. And, like, what's the worst that can happen? Giving money doesn't always solve that situation. Me making an after school club does not mean that my youth is going to decide not to go to it and go and get involved in the gangs anyway. He could literally come home and lie to me and say that I went there, and he didn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't. Money does not change the mindset of people. Do you get what I'm saying? It, like, you can provide all this stuff, but it doesn't mean, like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes people are quick to throw money to a solution when, in reality, if you flip it on the flip side, some people that have come from situations where they've had a single mum, had one, like, a low income household, have turned out to be some of the most famous people in the world. Do you get what I'm saying? I feel like you have to make your opportunity, not ask for the opportunity to come. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, 100%. I see. The thing is, I firmly agree with that. For me, I believe that. I actually learned, do you know, funny enough, I learned that. Do you know who Ty Lopez is? You might have seen him on some adverts here and there. If you research him after, you'll see who he is, yeah.
Ty Lopez, why do I feel like, does he wear glasses?
He was the one that he had those YouTube adverts, and he was like, I'm here in my garage, and he had the Lamborghini of those books some years ago, and he's like,
does he wear glasses?
Yes. If you research him after, you'll know. For sure.
I'll say I'll be like,
yeah. But anyways, point is, yeah, the guy said something, like, I heard him say this years ago, and it's probably one of the coldest things. Not the coldest, but one of the coldest things I've ever heard. And he's basically saying that for you to have an opinion, and for your opinion to be valued, you have to be able to argue that opposing opinion better than the people arguing that opinion. Does that make sense? So let's say if I want to, like, proudly say that, no, I'm for Labour and I'm a socialist or whatever it is, yeah, I don't know. Let's say that's what it is. And the flip argument is the argument of, let's say, all these Tories, whatever it is, capitalist conservatives. As someone that's pushing Labour, I should be able to argue the argument for the Tories better than them. Does that make sense? So for me, I definitely agree with what you're saying, but my thing is, okay, where are the where are the gaps in the argument, and what are the actual genuine points that they have that are fair points. I think
Oh yeah.
potentially, I don't know, like I think for me, it's kind of what you said there is basic common sense for most people, but it's like there are intelligent people that will tell you otherwise. And so what is it that they're seeing that I'm not seeing? Do you get it? Like, how is something that's so bait to me? Like, how is there so many people that just fundamentally believe the opposite to the extent that there've been wars, bro? There've been wars. There's been like people died over this, bro. Did you get it? So it's even nuts. But to be honest, I agree. Like, I just think overall, it all comes down to, as you said, mindset, and it comes down to what you teach people from a young age. And it's like if basically my thing is, I think at foundation is I don't believe in teaching someone that they're a victim regardless of what the situation is.
Yeah, word.
Like anything that's like promoting people as victims, I'm not on that. Like, I'm not going to support. I can't back it.
No, word.
So the reason why I'm just like iffy when it comes to that, a lot of that is because a lot of it is creating victims so that you can be the hero for a victim. It's like, and to be honest, I see the same thing with like, and people won't even like this, but even like with a lot of the racism and stuff like that, yeah, I get it, but a lot of it is more like the victim mentality now is more dangerous than the racism itself in today's age.
It becomes it starts to become a scapegoat. If you get
Literally.
It's like any situation now. It's like, come on, like relax. You know what I'm saying? Like
relax, bro.
Like, I mean, after the whole Black Lives Matter movement, which, don't get me wrong, and this is what I saw. It stems. What was the catalyst in the whole thing, which was the racist act of the murder of George Floyd, then stemmed into a spiral of so many things that were just so unrelated to what the actual main focus was. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, 100.
Do you know? I think that whole movement was iconic in the sense how it just turned into something so unrelated to what it was meant to be about. If you get what I'm saying?
No, 100. To be honest, that the actual BLM organization, like the movement, like just the movement itself, there's definitely some people that had genuine intentions, but the actual organization BLM, they were quite shady behind the scenes. If you look into it, like, they were quite
They
quite
saw
done
the
out, bro.
opportunity and they were like, yeah, no, we got
what they were actually looking for, they're just done out, bro. Like, they're done out. Like, I can't even back that, bro. I can't even back that, bro. Like, what even is that? But nah, I do hear it. Like, to be honest, do you know what's even nuts? Yeah, I was literally watching like a little bit of a podcast the other day, and they're basically saying that, and I'm seeing this as well. Yeah, there's basically now almost like a reverse racism, whereby in IBM, I don't know if you know IBM, there's like a clip of the CEO, and he's basically saying that they're giving promotions to the black dons. Like, they're encouraging people to give promotions to the black dons and not the white dons. Do you get it? It's like,
this is what I'm saying. It's now flipped on its head to the point where now it's forced.
Word.
Do you know what? This is what I'm saying. I would never want a situation where I've been given a job purely because now we need to fulfill our diversity quota. Do you get what I'm saying? That's, if anything, that's more in my head. That's more racist than you turning me down.
Thing, you know, 100%.
I'd rather you turn me away for being black than actually
genuinely.
I'm black.
Sean, genuinely, I'd rather go to the job interview and you say, you know what, Jonathan, I'm not going to give you the job. You know what? Because you're black. Have a nice day. I appreciate it. Have a nice day. You have a nice one. I'll see you around. Like, I'd rather that. I'd rather that, bro. Like, that's not even that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's. But now, I don't know.
It's bad, you know, because it's actually happening. I'm even like there was this girl. John, this is mad. So there was this law firm, this girl that was doing my course. She was saying that this was like one of the top law firms in the country, John. Like we're talking. These lot are starting and they're getting like a couple hundred racks. Like this is what they're on. And she said she went to this like a taster day thing. Like, and only I think there's maybe like 20 people that got invited to it. John, there was like thousands of applicants. 20 people. She said that when she went there, she has a slight disability as well, like a slight one. Right. So she's not black, but she had a slight disability. She said when she got there, she saw one white guy.
Because you can't like nowadays. on a slight, and I completely, and people are going to say this is mad, but I slightly, you have to slightly start to feel sorry for white dons, you know?
No, you know, it's slightly tough to be a
You get
white male.
slightly, like, it's starting to slightly come around whereby, like, bro, like, allow it. Like, he's worked hard as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, relax, bro.
Oh
Like,
wait,
he's
what?
also did his thing. He did his shift. Like, he did the hours. He did the revision, the homework. I was playing Xbox. He was actually revising,
Yeah,
bro.
what? He was actually banging it out.
See what
And
I'm
the
saying?
worst part is that it's a generation of white guys that, like, honestly, not to say all of them, but majority of them might not actually be even as racist as the previous white males. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you know how peak that is? Like,
No, it's
thinking, why am I suffering for?
for something.
It's,
Yeah, what?
it can, you know, it's gonna get to a point where it completely flips on its head,
No, it
where
is.
we look. I don't know how to describe it. We look at previous black people that have suffered for the harm that they've. Well, I don't know how to describe it. We feel like we're now benefiting because of the suffering that they took,
Right.
and eventually going to be a situation for the white average male. They're going to start suffering for the benefits that their
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
ancestors
yeah, yeah, yeah.
had. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
gonna completely flip in its head. Do you get like it's that? Nah. It's
Nah, it's
long.
even nuts. Nah, it's even nuts. But I guess I don't know. I think the challenge is that the way that the world is shifting,
Oh,
that's just how it
you
is,
don't know.
bro.
One second, one second. You don't have a
Nah, it's
meeting today?
calm. It's calm. It's calm. It's calm. It's calm. It's
Oh,
calm.
we
Yeah,
get to
yeah. We'll carry on.
calm.
Yeah, we'll get through it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's
It's
go.
calm.
Let's go.
I don't know if you saw. I was looking. I was patterning it. I
Yeah,
was
no,
patterning.
what
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
hang on.
It's
Now let's
calm.
go.
But yeah, nah. No, I was gonna say like the world, the way it's moving. It's like this is just the way it is. And the reason why I even mention that, obviously, we're talking about the 9 to 5, and like with us, we're just fitting in. But I'm even thinking, like, let's say, Sean, you ended up having a company one day, yeah, big
Mm.
company. It's now getting to the point now where you're going to have to hit some of these quotas, making sure that you're mixing up some of the workforce to make sure that, okay, you've got X% that are this race, X% are this gender. I'm not going to lie, that's even, for me, in my head, that's nuts, bro.
No, well, I can't like if that was me, I am backing myself to the point where like I'll say you shut me down if you want to shut me down, because I'll say it to them with chest. If I as a black man, John, would if it was based purely off merit, if it was warranted and it was every person that applies to my job, it happened that all of them happened to be white. I say, well, let's look at the resumes, let's look at the CVs,
Hmm.
let's compare and tell me I'm wrong in employing him instead of him. I feel like people are caving into it, and the problem is when you cave into the whole thing of like, I don't know. I think it's because people see someone do it and think I need to do it because that's not how it
Do
works.
you know what the peak thing as well, though? Now, it's also being pushed by a lot of these investment companies, in it. So if you have a business now, especially the big ones where they have to get funding in it, they have to get funding.
Yeah.
Them funding companies are now looking at how is your business pattern in terms of like diversity and all of that stuff to be able for you to secure the bread. So it's even complex, bro. And what happens is, especially as your company starts growing and you have shareholders, you have to please the shareholders. There's not even
No.
a thing where you, Sean's like, oh, no, I'm not doing that, because they will just take you out and just put in another
Yeah, look,
CEO
well,
that's going to do it. Yeah. Simple. There's not even a problem. So
yeah. No, that's
it's
right. That's
tight, isn't
right.
it? No,
Yeah.
100. It's even tight, but I guess at the same time, though, the world does move in it's like it does swing back and forth in it. So at some point, you could argue that look, all of these, let's say the racism, the oppression of certain groups in society was too mad at some point, and now we're somewhat overcorrecting. At some point, it will swing back. Do you get
Yeah.
it? It will swing back, and then it'll swing
Word.
back, and it'll swing back. That's how
Mm.
the world works. But it's even nuts, though. I think when it comes to like politics and stuff, I feel like it's way more interesting in America, though. Over here,
Yeah.
it's just
No.
like, yeah, yeah,
Word.
yeah, yeah,
Word.
yeah.
No, it's mad. I was even thinking, even like when you just asked the question of have I been watching the news and stuff, and I was like, it's mad because I actually don't like. It's not that I don't. I actively. It's not that I actively choose not to. I just
Hmm.
don't have the time to.
No
So now,
word.
and that's the world that we live in now. We receive information just in bursts, in moments.
No word.
Like you, I don't. I remember the last time I sat down and used to watch the news. My dad, what a guy. He used to every morning when he woke me up. He wake me up to say get ready for school. This is when I was like quite young, and I come back into my room, and there on the TV would be the news. it'd be the news. Like,
No,
you're actually long. I used to get vexed thinking, why is it making me watch the news this early in the morning? But I was like, this is good, because I knew what was going on in the world, John. I knew the cabinet like the back of my hand, John. When I was like, I don't know why I knew it, but it was one of those things. I was like, wow, looking at it now, I took it for granted because I wish I had that time just to do that now, which I don't. I get a notification on my phone, or I see something in a 30-second burst on TikTok. It'll be like this, that, and it's bad because I don't know any context behind it because I just don't have the time to go and look it up. Do you get what I'm saying? So now I could have a preconceived idea of what something is based on a 30-second clip. Whereas when you actually watch the news, they take you all the way over to Palestine to explain it to you, what's going on over there, break it down to you. Now it's very if and when sort of thing. So
the nuts thing is as well though is that kind of a flip argument. It's kind of alongside what you're saying, but it's kind of a flip thing. Is whereby more people now get their news from like social media, bro. In the sense that
they do.
In the sense that, like, I'd rather watch a podcast on like the situation in Palestine or whatever than go on the news and watch. Because at the same time though, like the news stations and all of that stuff, they do have their agendas as well in it, and they do have certain funding by certain people. So they're not going to report on everything. Some of them are going to be more left or right leaning. Some of them are going to be funded by certain people. So it's like you don't really fully know what the actual situation is. So now it's like most times these days we can go direct to the source, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's an interesting one. We're going to see because now news, even just day-to-day TV, they're losing their power, bro.
No, well, they are. They are. Because I was even thinking,
losing their power, bro.
Just what you said now, in terms of when you watch the news, it's always very much like it's never neutral. It's always biased to
one side.
Even the BBC, I'm pretty sure majority of them are all Tories. So if you not noticed when they do their interviews and there's anyone from Labour, the way they're cut through, there's the personal there's personal agendas words.
Yeah,
so like you said, podcasts. I think podcasts are one of the most powerful tools right now in the world because majority of the time, no politician will say what I've just said about how it's a lose-lose situation. Like no podcast no politician will be like, oh, well, even though they're doing bad, even if I get in that situation, you lot are still gonna hate me anyway because I'm gonna end up doing something bad anyway. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be, they're never gonna be honest and be like, you know what? Yeah, they'll always say they'll sell the dream without the consequence. With every action, there's a consequence, but they never like to tell the consequences. It's always just, oh, what benefit is going to come out of the situation? Because there's going to be some negative externality, always, but they never chat about it. Never get brought up. But we are one of the only platforms where we can say things as they are, and people can actually get like a full picture of it and be like, cool. I watched a few podcasts, and there were sometimes when people talk about stuff, it's so neutral. I'm like, yeah, I get it now, and I get why it's hard for. I don't know how to describe it. I lost my train of thought for a second. Hang on. I was saying, I understand why it's hard for certain, like you're saying, certain situations just be dealt with because there's more than just what we see from one side of parties saying to us on the news. There's like even as bad as it sounds, the whole Palestine thing, it's to do with who's the op right now. Everyone's saying Israel, but we don't actually really know what Israel's saying. We don't, and that's because of alliances, whatever. If we find an ally with Israel and would turn on the news channel right now, I'm sure we see a very different picture.
100%.
Not saying what Israel's doing is good at all in the slices. I'm not, but it's all just we literally just understand, know what we only know what we're told. Do you get what I'm saying? We're not there.
100%.
We're not. None of us parading with our banners are there in the slightest. We are putting up our banners, walking out, cool, support it, but you're not on the ground. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not there seeing it all happen. So all you're believing is what you see on TikTok, you see on Instagram, it's all because we're allies with certain people that are pushing us a certain narrative. And people on who are allied with Israel are gonna have another narrative, which is completely different to ours.
Do you know, it's even similar to like the whole Ukraine Russia thing, Like it's actually nuts. If you go to certain people or certain parts, they're backing the Russia thing, which is even nuts,
It's propaganda, John.
Yeah.
It's propaganda. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
we've not moved. No, I'm not saying there's not a right and a wrong in the situation, but unless I'm there seeing it for myself, it's just Chinese whispers.
Yeah,
Someone's
yeah.
telling someone something. He's telling someone something. It's getting back to the news. It's then telling everyone.
No.
I'll believe it because you're the BBC. I put my trust in you. But
Nah, to be honest, I wouldn't even believe it. For me, I'm just like, I'll listen to it. I'm like, fair enough. We'll see in it.
but then it's like I cannot then blame someone who's on the other side for having their view because I'm like, that's all you've been told. You've
Yeah,
not been told it from my perspective. Has anyone actually been told about from the Israel perspective, really and truly? Like let's getting down to the nooks and the crannies of it and understanding why they're actually doing this. Probably not.
no, 100%. To be fair, I do. I think now because I've got more interested in it, so I do hear a lot from the Israel side. But I completely hear your point. Like when I first found
And
out about this, I just all heard from the Palestine. I just thought all from the Palestine side, and I was
that's
like,
why
yeah, these Israel dons are moving mad. I was thinking, yeah, they're moving
word.
mad.
But now, John, that's why you understand that it's not that simple.
It's not simple. Yeah, it's
Because
not simple.
you've looked at it from like a, let me take myself out, let me take my emotions and everything out of this, and like what everyone else around me is saying, let me actually just look at it for what it actually is. And when you look at situations, what they actually are, you gain perspective and you think, you know what, yeah, this is not actually as simple as I thought. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey,
No word. Life though.
in life.
My
I
life.
was going to ask you a question today.
Go on.
If you could, okay, let's say tomorrow, John, you have to start a new job. You get given £500,000.
Yep.
And you have to now just live off that for the rest of your life. What are you doing with that money?
Okay, 1 second. So okay, there's kind of two things you mentioned. So there's the 500k. What would I do with 500k? And then the second thing is, if I had to start a new job, are these linked? Are they separate? Like, what's your?
So the 500k, not actually. Forget about a job.
Okay.
Let's just say you're going to get one lump sum payment from the government. They're going to give you 500k
Right now.
and say live off it. Now do what you need to do.
I can't make any other money apart from that 500k.
You can make 500k. You can make more money off the 500k.
Right.
But that's up to you how you do it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
So as of right now, if someone gave me 500k, hand on heart, what I do is almost nothing. Meaning, I just store it. Not because I'm just trying to say, because as of right now, I don't have anything. I don't have a good enough opportunity to invest into. So what I do is I put it aside. I carry on with what I'm doing now. But what I do is, aside from my job, one thing that I'm doing, obviously, you already know, it's like the trading side, and but from a perspective of like learning. One thing I'm doing as well is learning how to code and like learn how to make these trading automated bots and all of that good stuff. Yeah. So basically, what I do is I put it aside and have that on standby for once I get to the point, and then I just use the capital for that and carry on doing what I'm doing now. Which is kind of a boring answer, but I guess for me, I wouldn't do too much. I'd like the first thing I do is just put it to the side and just look for, okay, cool, I have this capital here. Now I need a proper skill set, or I need a proper opportunity to be able to deploy the capital to make more bread. That's my approach. That's my approach.
I hear that.
What are you saying?
I'm going to be so honest with you, John. I'm exploiting uni students. That's what I'm doing. 100%.
How?
100%. After living at uni for 4 years, I've seen the system that's in place to drain money from students is so efficient. I cannot not take the opportunity to do it. I'm going to do it at some point in life, I reckon.
Right.
But let me break this down to you, John. So I lived in a house with four other students, so five people in total.
Right.
We all paid, on average, if it was to break it down evenly, it would have been £570 a month.
Is that bills included or
not bills included?
Okay.
On top of that, bills would have been about maybe £50 a month.
So this is straight 570 straight to the landlord.
Straight to landlord.
Okay, good. Okay.
Obviously, we were democracy. We were like, you know what, yeah, some of us have got bigger rooms than others. It's only
It's
fair if
fair.
someone pays more than someone else. Fair enough, cool. But essentially, landlord doesn't really give a toss. She's like, I'm getting my money anyway. You lot do what you need to do to make
She
yourself
said there were
happy.
5 of you on average about 570. So what she's collecting
Yeah,
her 2.5, her
yeah,
2.6, 2.7 ish, probably a bit more actually. 2.8. She's collecting her 2.8 per month ish.
2.8 per month. So my landlord was a cute little old lady. I
Right.
won't disclose her name, but
Right.
she yeah. So she owned this house. It was a nice house. This is in a pretty affluent area, to be
Yeah.
fair. So it would have cost a fair bit initially. So initially, I'm thinking, what are her costs? So there's a cost of initially well, she's got to get the mortgage
Yeah.
for the
For the
house.
yard.
The mortgage would have been this is like a decent sized yard. But what she done, which we noticed, is that she turned two rooms, no, one room into two
Into
rooms.
two. Right.
Yeah, because
Right.
the wall between the two rooms was thin. It was thin. So essentially, it was three upstairs bedrooms, which turned into four, and
Right.
then there was another downstairs bedroom, which would have been a living room, turned into a bedroom, and then there was like another main living room with like a little dining room connected to it, like all one open plan, then a kitchen, then a fat garden.
Did
Cool.
you guys ever do the thing where you go online and see how much the house is worth?
I think it was just under 500.
Just under 500. Okay, fair enough.
Might have been. I might be lying. But yeah. But yeah, nice. So cool. So she's got the mortgage now. She's taking out the loan. Cool. But if you think of it, as a student, having been a student, gaining a uni house is one of the first priorities you make once you start the year. Like once you
100%.
if unless you have the goal of like, I'm not gonna live here next year, I'm gonna live somewhere else. That is the first thing on your mind. Where am I living? As soon as you even if I'm moving a house, like what's it, September, by October I'm thinking, where am I living next year? Because it goes quick. So now
Yeah.
you're looking for houses. Also, you people refer each other through like each other's friends, which is probably the best free advertising these landlords get at uni. It is crazy
True.
how people will just tell someone, I live in this house, it houses this many people, you've got this many boys with this many girls, you lot could simply just move into a house, I'll give you the landlord's number. So there's referral done, advertising done. You're not having to worry too much out even about putting it on Zoopla, Rightmove, all these places. The students are doing it for you for free anyway, so it's calm. Top of that now, you've got always secure mortgage repayments because students are never ever not going to pay your rent. Like students are too shook because when you sign the contract, you put your parents. Majority of people put their parents as a guarantor,
Guarantor.
meaning that if you don't pay your rent, your parents will pay your rent. Most parents pay their children's deposits, so most of the students as well are not going to damage the property because realistically you're losing your parents' money. So there's the incentive to actually keep the property in good condition now. So they've got the property in good condition. Also, with the paying situation, most students have jobs. So me included I was working in Sainsbury's. Pretty much 3/4 of my paycheck, John, if not more,
Straight.
would go straight.
Direct, bro. Directly.
Direct. So you got guaranteed rent. You got guaranteed guarantors in case someone doesn't pay rent. You got deposit paid by the parents. So I'm too shook now to lose my parents' deposit, so I'm not going to damage anything. And even if I do, the general upkeep is not actually that long. Like our landlord probably spent maybe max last year, maybe like less than £1,000 on upkeep.
Right.
Every now and again, you do one big upheaval of like changing the bathroom because wear and tear over time. Cool,
Yeah.
but that's going to cost you what, maybe like 5,000 over a year. So now, if you think about it, even if let's calculate it, if you had like a loan of, let's say, I don't know what's a loan for like a
I could be
decent.
absolutely waffling, but I feel like the rule of thumb is like 25. Let's say you're putting down 25. So you're putting down 25% of the yard in it. Let's say
Yeah,
you're trying to cover yard. I could be absolutely waffling, by the way. I think
yeah.
it might be different based on if you're going to live there versus if you're going to invest. But let's say like 500 bag yard, you're putting down a quarter, bro. So it's like a one. Yeah. Actually, I could be absolutely waffling. I don't know. Something like that though. In my head.
Essentially, the moral of it though is that it might take maybe so that 500,000 which I'm gonna get is gonna be gone within maybe like the first like year. But once I pay back the mortgage, which is gonna be quick, it's gonna be quick.
You're gonna pay the thing off quick.
Oh, quick! Literally every month, I'll just be like, I'll get the money which they're giving me, siphon off a little bit to live off, and then the rest give it to the bank. Within, I guarantee you, John, maybe like 2-3 years. No, for maybe like 3 to 4 years, I paid it off now. Now that property is literally just mine, and it's everything that was happening before. It's still happening now, but now I'm not paying anyone back. It's all just bread. To prove this works, my landlord, who I thought, bless her heart, amazing landlord. I think it was last summer, or was it last Easter?
Right.
I got a message from this guy who was a year above me, and he was like to me, hey Sean, is your landlord so-and-so? And I said, yeah. How come you're asking, thinking maybe he wants to move into the house or something? And he was like, oh yeah, I recently went to this property convention, and she was the key speaker. I was like, what?
Simple.
This little lady that comes in our house every now and again, when she has her inspections, so nice, John. You wouldn't think it at all
100.
That this woman has like 25 properties. 25 properties, John.
Simple.
And she says over half of her portfolio is student houses.
Simple.
She literally has 2 other houses on our road.
Nah, I completely hear it. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, I rate that. I think the property game, like, I have so much ratings for it. I just respect it too much to think that I'd be able to just slap down 500 bags from you, right? Personally, for my knowledge, do you get it? Like, I'm just a thing where it's like, you know, I need to learn this thing. This is a game. I need to learn the rules. I need to. You know what I'm
saying? There's learning the rules, and I think there's a lot. Why I specifically said students in this situation.
Yeah.
Compared to just the average, let's just buy a house and rent it out, because there's not the same level of security you have with students that you do just in general. In general, renting out to just random people don't pay rent. People go months not paying rent, which means it's long for you now, because you're now paying back your loan, which you can't pay back now, or you're having to pay back out of your own pocket. Whereas there's just a level of security having students where realistically the only cost you're ever going to get is maybe a bit of damage here and there, but you're always, I don't know anyone, John, that didn't pay rent back. And if you're smart and you think, you know what, I'm going to go up north, buy a house for like 30 bags.
Nah, here. Funny thing is, I chat to Jazz about this all the time, and he says the same thing, like buying yards up north. Because I was just in Newcastle, wasn't it? So,
but for me, I would never, because I will. Well, I know for a fact I will. When I do get into this property game, I'm renting to students. I will never rent to anyone else but students. I'm going to make sure I find a house near a uni, near a big supermarket, roughly near town, which might cost, the initial cost of that, because of location wise, is going to be fairly extortionate. But I just think in terms of the
return on
security
investment
you're going to get back of knowing that students are just going to pay their rent no matter what. Students do not have the vim to be like, you know, I'm not going to pay rent this month. They will find the money. They will students will do all kinds of craziness just to find the money. And if worse comes to worse, on the odd occasion that they don't, mum and dad are going to have to pay the rent. Because they're shook. This is their livelihood. They're thinking, this is what I need to live here.
How much bread do you reckon you need? Let's say going from now forward, taking up 500k situation. How much bread do you reckon you need to get to the point where you can invest into a yard in your mind?
It depends on my circumstance in terms of like if I have kids and stuff and all that sort of stuff. But let's say extra disposable income, just extra.
Yeah.
So let's say everything is accounted for and what I just have extra to do it. I think I need maybe like 150. No, maybe even less. You know, I might be chatting. Might be even just 100.
Probably can do less, to be honest. But John,
I'll tell a lie. It's gonna be 90.
Right. The guy said that, but This shit will get okay. But my thing is, okay, cool. So let's say 90, yeah. When are you in your mind, yeah? Let's say obviously this is something you want to do, and what's your timelines? Like, when do you think you're gonna roughly speaking got to do this?
Oh, before I'm 30, 100%.
Okay, interesting.
Well, before 30.
So is your thing, all right, cool, patenting the 9 to 5 now, siphon off some of the bread, and then we're going to build up the pile, and at some point slap it straight into the yard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I hear
no.
it still.
It's got to be done. Because I just think it'll turn into an investment which I'll just have. I think the earlier I start it, it's an investment I just have there that I'm not too much concerned about. But in the long run, it's the returns incredible.